Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Arverni. Okay, let's start with 20 units mixed. Let's get rid of the dogs for this particular exercise. Oathsworn, Naked Warriors, Celtic Warriors, Light Horse, Noble Horse, Heavy Horse. Spear Nobles, Spear Warriors, Heavy Freemen. So what do we need? What do we need? No, I do think that's a fair representation. Because we don't want... Yeah, another Levy Freeman. Okay. Yeah, just let I add a chevron on, just in case I fight the battle. It's so these are the guys that are representing the Gauls, and the Gauls, as we used to call them at school, are the people that actually, to put not too fine a point on it, they taught the Romans the finer points of how to kick phalanx ass, which is why the Romans stopped using it. So it would be quite wrong to be thinking that these guys, as the Arverni, would just be some rabble that would be this blob that would just attack in a big blob. You know, it's like these guys knew their stuff when it come to fighting. You know, it's just because the classicists referred to them as barbarians didn't mean that they didn't know what they were doing. You know, but I think that's fairly well established these days. Anyway, it's not a revelation. Well, it's not a revelation to those that that enjoy researching their history. Put it that way. Okay. So here it's started off giving us a fairly standard. Right, mediums to the back, heavies to the front. That's how it's split it. Right, so since starting to do this attempt at a presentation, the previous one before I had to go, before I had to take a break, I've realised that how the program, how the AI sets up the, well, I'm calling it the AI. You know the process, how it automates where to put your units. It seems to be mattering less about whether it's spear or sword. It seems to be mattering more about if it's medium, heavy, or very heavy. You know, so heavy and very heavy are counted as one class. Medium and light are classed as another class. And so we're getting these funny mixed lines if you're just using the defaults. So if we do the boar,
organize yourselves.
Yeah, so it did load with the boar, yeah. Okay, so if we do the boar again, right, okay. Armour formation with spear infantry in the centre, flanked by melee infantry. Missile infantry form the front row and cavalry sit on the extreme flanks. Okay, so spear infantry in the centre. So that's what we got here. Right, so let's put the heavy spear up front and the medium spear behind. And we have, again, it's the heavies up front and our mediums behind for our sword. And here's our cavalry. That's, now, this I would consider an attacking formation, but it's also a good general purpose one as well. So if you get caught on the hop, the only thing that's a bit awkward about it is my personal inclination is to have spear backing up your horse, rather than having sword here. So it's so for this so that's the reason why I would consider this an attacking formation, because what this is then is you can slam these into the enemy by means of getting them up there, get a wall going, then bring up your support, get them in there as well, shield wall them as much as you can, and while they're being held by your shield wall, your swords are working the flanks along the cavalry. And as far as the missiles go, well, I would be inclined to put, once the combat has begun in it proper, rather than the skirmish, slingers to the side, archers behind, or javelin behind. Is that, well, I must admit personally, I'm inclined to put the javelins with the horse as well. That's I try my best to combine a spear, a javelin, and a horse together, and work that as an actual unit. But I'm digressing from this actual formation. Right, so I actually see this. So although it's not got like, oh yes, let's assault with sword right across the front, that's not really going to work if you're approaching an army that's got a shield wall up. So because what you're doing then is you're wasting your swords, like wasting time on a shield wall. What you want the swords to be doing is assaulting, getting into them from their weak points, not wasting time at taking casualties and getting tired from the front. That's what your spears are for. Right, so say it's like so a hoplite phalanx comes up, you throw up a shield wall, right? You don't want your swords going into a phalanx from the front. It's like, even if the game lets you, it's like you're still better tactically to work the flanks. So for me, this is the boar. For once, I'm not talking about myself, so I'm talking about the formation. It's right, the boar. The BOAR. So this is the what we could call it, the hard heads and the sharp tusks. Yeah, I suppose you could look at it that way, right? The boar, right? So that's the hard head and the sharp tusks. So the hard head blocks it, and the tusks do the stabbing. Kill them. Your swords round the flanks. And they in turn are getting shielded by the cavalry. Okay, that's the boar. Now the bird. Right, the bird. Army formation with heavy infantry in front and light infantry behind. In turn, missile infantry flank the light infantry with cavalry on the extreme flanks. So again, I'm now understanding that the computer doesn't seem to be distinguishing between spear and sword. That's the politest way that I can actually put it. Because to have all your spear on one side and all your sword on the other side, well, for me personally, to me it's stupid. Now you could be saying, but that's to assault all, it's to put all your weight on one flank. That's like, well, you could say that. It just doesn't feel quite right to me. See, because it's don't get me wrong, this is an assault formation. And, it's like, so if you like to rush your enemy, this is a good formation for rushing the enemy. It's just I question this spears one side, swords on the other, because if you're rushing the enemy, this is where you would kinda expect it to be the swords along the front, or the spears protecting the flanks from any counter charge by cavalry, and your swords doing the killing in the middle. Then with the medium, I bringing up, filling in gaps, and adding extra weight. It's quite funny. It's like personally when I'm playing, I'm inclined to do the opposite. I'm actually inclined to engage first with my medium, and then with my heavies, punch holes, and find the gaps and punch holes, and use my general to reinforce and rally the main line. That's what I'm inclined to do myself. But this formation is certainly an assault. It's got your very heavies and heavies up front. So the idea here is there's no finesse. You just go for it. You just punch. You're just like trying to punch them right in the nose. You're just trying to take them down. Right. You just try to club them to death. That's don't get me wrong. It's up to each individual how they then play that formation. But I'm just looking at how they've actually set this up as in general. Like I say, I question this the spear sword displacement on both rows. I'm putting that down to that the program is not differentiating between spear and sword. It's differentiating them by means of, well, these are all medium infantry, and these are all heavy infantry. And the horse. The horse for me is the best general purpose one of the three. Because for me, I wouldn't. Well, as you can see from what I'm saying, the bird is not quite me. The boar, well, that's your classic pincer movement. Yeah, so it's the sword and anvil, but you've got a sword in both flanks. But obviously you've got a bigger sword on the right flank because it's putting more of your horse there than it is on the left. Yeah, the horse. Right, the horse. An army formation with spear infantry flanked with light cavalry in the main line, missile infantry at the front, and melee infantry and heavy cavalry behind. So for me, this is the classic way of approaching attacking somebody in Total War. This is quite possibly very similar to the type of formation I would actually use through choice. I would actually choose to fight with something like this rather than it being, oh well, it's a preset, let's do the best we can with it. So you've got your missile up front to do the standard skirmishing engagement. You've got your, well, it's they have actually split the spear and the sword here. Which I am inclined to do. Perhaps not. I'm perhaps not quite as pure as this. I'm not going to do all spear and all sword. But what I'm inclined to do is certainly have the middle spear, and the idea here is these will then form a spear wall, a shield wall. The spears on the flanks will work with the cavalry, and once I've got the enemy engaged, that's when I will then start shocking them with my sword. So for me, this is a very good starting position to then move and adjust according to whatever the enemy army is doing. So for me, the horse is both. Well, it's the strongest defense out of the three formations because it's got the solid spear. So whatever they throw at you, you can throw up a spear wall, and then either work these in the gaps. Because remember, when we're talking from the game, that's not going to be a solid wall. These will all squish up to each other, and so there'll actually be noticeable gaps in between. So what you can do is once they've engaged units, you will then have gaps to then rush your swords through. And so you can then get your swords through and then hit the flank of whoever's attacking. And that way you can get local superiority on these units. And once you've got these units smashed, they will then rout, and they will start routing through their own guys. When they're routing through their own guys, that will give their morale a kicking. And when when their morale's got a kicking, then you can actually take the fight to them. So you've got a choice with this. You see, it's like, so you can receive them and be very, very strong, or attack with it and be strong. You know, it's certainly stronger when you're actually on defense with this than it is with attack. But at the same time, what you can do is you can go right up to the enemy, and then you're effectively making them be the attacker. You know, you're kind of like forcing them to be the attacker, and you can do that by like your light horse. It's like, because what you've got here, I've got like two heavy cavalry and the general. So even if I place the general here, you know, just so that I can keep these guys buffed, that, you know, that would still be good horse, and the light horse, which I would use. Ideally, I want to try to take out the enemy missile units, and so what will happen is if I manage to take them out, then that will force the enemy to attack, or they can just sit there while I shoot them to death. See, so it's always good to have a light horse to actually get in there, get stuck in, and ideally take out their missile units. You know, because once they've got their missile units removed, they are then obliged to become the attacker. You know, it's otherwise you just sit back. You know, it's like, don't charge them. You know, if they insist on sitting like dummies, and you know, like standing there being ever so brave, taking it like a man, well, give it to them. You know, it's shoot them to death. You know, it's like when you're talking warfare, it's like, yes, there's the romance of the honor, but you know, isn't living better than dying? You know, it's like, what was it? It was oh God, what was his name? It was Patton, wasn't it? He said, the objective of war is not to die for your country, it's to make the other bastard die for his. You know, it's so when we're talking in a game, then from a gameplay point of view, sure, it's to be a fair fight. But when you're talking about winning a battle, it's the fair fight side of things is not cheating. You know, it's like not spamming like elite units, for instance. Well, obviously everybody's doing that because everybody's going for the strongest army they can possibly get in the game, and it's up to CA to sort that out. But if we're talking like having fun with a good balanced army, and we're wanting to like kick some ass, then yeah, it's once you've got a good general purpose army selected, you know, you've got your formation sorted, then it's a case of you don't need to be polite anymore. Now, you know, it's like you've fulfilled all the conventions of politeness by turning up with a balanced army, and it's up to you how you use it. And that's it. Excuse me. And that's the thing. Once the battle started, then that's when being a gentleman finishes. And then become a gentleman again when it's either a good game, what a great victory, or well done, you kicked my ass, nice one. You know, it's obviously it wouldn't surprise you that I disapprove of people that disconnect just because they're getting their arse kicked. You know, I understand that, you know, if somebody's winning fair and square, then you're sort of going, yeah, fair enough. You know, but it does feel bad when you're sort of going, yeah, but you spammed that army, and what on earth is doing bringing like 12 artillery units to a battle or something like that, you know. Anyway, so for myself, the boar is the classic pincer attack. The bird, oh god, I haven't worked out quite what the story is with that split between swords on the left and spears on the right. I think that's a glitch. I find it very hard to believe that it's actually supposed to be like that. You know, it's splitting them between heavy at the front and medium at the back. You know, it's not differentiating between sword and spear. But because the horse is putting spear up front and sword behind, then that is actually, like I'm saying, I do find that a very, very good starting point. You know, because at the end of the day, right. Hang on a second.
Take battle group!
Right. So it's like, because just for argument's sake, you know, you're in a panic. The other guy, you know, it's like he's some smart arse. You know, it's like he's loaded up his army and he's clicked start battle straight away. You know, like conceited bugger, like I used to be when I was younger. You know, that's and you're like, the clock's ticking down. You've made a bit of a mess of your army. You know, it's like you had this great plan, but it's just not working. And it's like, no. It's like, I can't. You're like, I'm in a mess. I can't fight this battle like this. That's when these fixed formations can really help you. Yeah, you know, they can really bail you out. It's like, so are you wanting to attack? Default to boar. Are you wanting to defend? Default to horse. Like I say, I must admit, I've not actually fully worked out the bird yet. I'm under the impression it's glitched, but that just might be because I'm not understanding it. Okay, so say this guy. The other thing as well, if they've clicked start really early, chances are they're going to rush you, because he's come up with some army that is maybe, you know, like one of these. He's just spammed all the same units. And it's like, nobody can touch me because I've got the Spartan motherfuckers, or whatever it is, right? It's you're like something from myth rather than something from history. It's just get your guys together, whack it in the horse.
Formation! Move!
Interesting. That shouldn't have happened. You know, I shouldn't have needed to drag that. I think, but as you can see, like once I've dragged it, it's fair enough. You know, it's like, so you've got your spears, you've got your swords, and your missiles. It's of course, the other thing you can do is just forget the specials. Go with the traditional missile front triple line. Wow, it's done it again. Spears on one side, swords the other. Right, that's bugged. That's bugged. That's there is no way that is how it's supposed to be. No. Right. Yeah. With a bit of luck, I'll submit a bug report and hopefully they'll have a look at that. Yeah, I know there's lots of more important things than this to actually get sorted before they look at bugs like that. But even so, it's okay. So go with horse. That way they come. So if he's going to rush you, then you can get some shots off him as he's rushing you. Get your shield wall up. You know, so that'll delay him as much as possible, and then get your sword counter-attacking him. The problem there, of course, is if he's got a spam that's going right that's going right across, then he's still got. That's a different issue. No, that's a different issue. But at least here you've got a fighting chance. I'll leave it there for the Arverni, I think. Come to think of it, you should look at what the Romans have got. It's one of the funniest things, but despite the fact that it's Rome 2, I've not really played with the Romans. I've come up with this one army. that for me, I think it's a good little army. But I don't know how it'll work with but I simply don't know how it'll work with the presets. Carthage. Oh, I'll just leave them at that. Fuck it. Right. Oops, sorry. That's, I'm trying to keep my lines clean for this one. Because I have a tendency to swear quite a lot when I'm actually playing in game. Okay. Right. So drilling infantry, 3 RAI. So what it's done, it's got spear up front, but it's Praetorians, equal cohort. First cohort, Gatti, armoured, veteran. Interesting mix. I hate the way that it sets up by default. It's just horrible. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm saying, it's like it's useful up to a point how they've done it. So it's giving you a starting point, I suppose. But once you actually get used to how to set up your armies, then you'll realise just how horrendous this formation is. But anyway, enough of that.
Proud Romans all.
Let's see what they're giving us. Okay. Formation with 2 well-spaced lines, melee infantry with spearmen on the flanks and cavalry behind. Missile infantry screen at the front.
Organize yourselves.
The screen at the front? That's not missile screening at the front. That's missile on the flanks. Right. With 2 well-spaced lines of melee infantry. Spearmen on the flanks, cavalry behind. Missile infantry form a screen at the front. Well, no point dwelling on it too much. But it's a good attacking formation. What I mean by that, you put your swords, so that's it, and your spears protecting the flanks. See, this is more what I would have been looking for from some of the other formations, and to keep out of their way, the missiles are on the flanks. Very good attacking formation. Very good. Okay, triplex. Formation places melee infantry in 3 lines. Lights in the front, spearmen at the last. Okay. Again, a good attacking formation. The spears behind. Again, that annoys me that they'll split them. Both auxiliaries one side, both triarii the other side. Well, but it's just because you just have to get over these things if you're actually going to be using the presets. It's like if you want to split them up, have 2 that side, 2 that side. One of each, should I say? Then you just need to do that manually. It's not exactly the end of the world. It's just that, but it's these little things though, where you're sort of like going, well, but the preset should do that kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, these are the sort of problems that we're prepared to overlook because we love so much else about the game. It's like, well, these little things are annoying. It's just that right now there are bigger issues that are, well, more problematic to gameplay than this. This is just a formation. It's like once the battle started, you can even customize it if you never had time before the battle started. You know, so it's like, or when you're advancing, then you can change your positions on the hop. Right. Okay. So what's good about this is it's a good solid front line for attacking, and if the flanks do get compromised, then the spears can throw up defences. And similarly, if you come up against a phalanx, instead of wasting your cohorts on the phalanx, bring up your spears, throw them up on a shield, and hang on, just make sure that what we've got here. Right, well, I've got auxiliary infantry, you see, because I would have these on the extreme flanks each, as cavalry, like sort of anti-cavalry. See, in the triarii is what I'd have in the middle. You see, in the triarii, although it doesn't have a shield wall, they will still be very, very effective at holding off anybody because of very heavy. It's you know, it's like they're certainly not to be overlooked. So, you know, so what I would actually change here is I'd have auxiliary there, and a triarii, which if I was going to keep them behind, it would be just so that the enemy cannot actually make a decision about the shield wall. Well, I'm calling it shield wall. Sorry. About the fact that that the spears will slow them down, and I would be using that purely to get local superiority again in unit versus unit. And also, if somebody starts, say for instance, somebody was to throw something like cataphracts into the melee, then you want something like triarii to be nice and handy, to actually counter strong melee cav. Well, when I'm saying cataphracts and strong melee cav in the same sentence, obviously I'm assuming that that's going to get sorted balance-wise in the game later on.
General!
Okay, let's look, and simplex. Basic formation, well-spaced spearmen in the front row.
Move it! Get sorted!
So what's different about that and this? Ah, right. Right, so this is what I thought was described as screening. Right, so when it's saying screening, they're referring to screening the flanks. They're not talking about screening the front line. Because normally in my head, when I think of missile units screening, I think that's where to me that's where they go. Whereas in these presets, it's saying that you know, with screening missile units, but so they're screening the flanks. Okay. So that's fair enough. That's very good general purpose. Because it's got the spears towards the flanks, then to me for me personally, this is the most useful. They're putting the spears up front. Well, again, it's a case of it's splitting them up between the types. You know, so I would not have triarii on like two on the flank. You know, two to one side. I'd have the triarii in the middle. You know, with auxiliary either side. Because auxiliary can then respond to, like for instance, if there was cavalry trying to charge down your archers, then the archers retreat, impale the horse chasing them on your spearmen. You know, don't have your triarii trying to run around after horses. You know, too slow. Okay, to tell you the truth, this is the one I'll probably turn to by default the most. If I was actually going to use the preset. Like I say, I can't stress enough, is to have your wings covered. I must admit, I would be inclined to only have the auxiliary infantry on the flanks, and the triarii I would have something central. You know, it's like I wouldn't actually choose this not like normally, but then I normally don't actually do a flat out non-stop assault on the enemy, whereas the Romans obviously they did. And, you know, it's like once they started, they just kept going. That's rather than waiting and repositioning the way that we might do when we're microing our game. You know, it's anyway, that's the Romans. Okay, Parthia. Right. No, because these guys are completely different. I don't think I've got a Parthian army, have I? No. Okay, let's see. Noble horse archers. We'll give the general noble horse archers. Now, Parthian swordsmen. Hillmen. Hillmen. Hmm. Oh shit, it was only Hillmen that was here before. Right. Hmm. That should be interesting to see what they come up with that. Right. So I don't have a clue what they're actually going to have. I've not really played Parthia at all. Right. What are they giving us? Okay, horse archers up front. Good. That's. I would expect something along these lines. Well, what I mean by that at least is foot infantry behind, cavalry up front. Last thing, the Parthians, their reputation as a cavalry army. You guys probably know more about that than I do. It's, okay. Centre. Armed formation with missile cavalry making up the front line, heavy cavalry behind them, light cavalry covering the flanks.
Organize yourselves!
Now, that's basically what we're loaded with. I've maybe come with too many infantry. In fact, I'm not. You could probably do these armies without any infantry. Flank. Missile cavalry at the front, light cavalry behind, and heavy cavalry on the flank. Yeah, so cataphracts. So this is like the equivalent of a pincer army. You know, like for pincer movements on the flanks. I believe these are set up for no infantry at all, perhaps. Oh, missile infantry at the front, flanked by missile cavalry. Right, so here's the mixed army combination. Okay, horse archers, hillmen, spearmen, hoplites, sword. Right, so they're clearly not expecting you to take the horse archers as your general, I don't think, if they position them there. Well, that's not so bad though. Right. Because we can do shield wall.
Ready.
Oh, the spear cannot do a shield wall. Hoplites can phalanx, of course. And the Parthian sword. Right. Because what I could actually do.
Wreck these whoreson merchants and send them scurrying back to their counting houses. Arms, men! Let us. Hoplites ready! At speed! What are your orders? Advance at speed! What are your orders? Double time!
So that's what I'd be more inclined to. So spear, hoplite, and spear, and my sword. But these swords are not used for assaulting. These are used as a shield wall. And that's the best use of light of these. And I would then be wanting my cataphracts to do the shock of the charge. Help we could work at my keyboard controls better there. Sorry. See, so for me, you see, once the battle started, I'm then making my own groups.
Hold this formation. At the double.
So that's all my footmen in that single group. Double horse, camel archers.
Horse archers. Band together. Quickly now. As you wish.
Okay. We have double horse, Parthian horse, armored horse.
As you wish.
All I'm doing, I'm just working the flanks with these. There's no point in trying to duel with these units. You know, you will lose if you do that. Oh, I'm looking at this and thinking, well, this might not work actually. No, I'm just curious because I've not actually played Parthia. Then I'm wanting to give this a go. It's right, noble blood. Median, noble blood.
Melee cavalry at your command.
See, so these are your heavy cavalry.
Advance at speed. We await your orders. Riders at the double.
You see, you don't think of your cataphracts as cavalry. Think of them as infantry.
Advance at speed. Heavy cavalry! Quickly now!
So what you want to do then is harass them to hell with your horse archers, use your melee cavalry against their cavalry, get your infantry to hold that line whilst you flank and pound them from behind or misses with your cataphracts. In the meantime, your general is keeping your line boosted to keep it as strong as possible. That's why I chose the horse archers on this particular army. The idea being is he can keep them boosted
Double horse archers!
while raining down merry hell on the enemy at the same time as keeping them boosted. Whereas if it was a melee cavalry unit, then you wouldn't be able to kill anybody while he's behind the line. Might work, might be terrible. We'll soon find out.
We await your orders!
Okay, I've gone a bit school with here, but what the hell?
Advance at speed!
It might be worth attacking them at the oblique anyway, because if they don't turn to face me, then I can put pressure on their flanks. A fair bit of cavalry here actually. Mercenary Iberian, that's quite easy though, isn't it? Libyan infantry. These guys are quite heavy, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Doing hoplite, secret band. Oh. This might be quite awkward actually. Okay, I'll peel off my spear units.
At the ready! Break up!
Because they've got so many cavalry, what I intend to do is work my spear units with my cavalry versus cavalry units.
Advance at speed! We are at your command! Quickly now!
Because you've got your frenzied charge with these, that will be very handy for getting in there quicker as well. So although it's not rapid advance, it's still very handy. Okay, let's start playing with these things. Noble horse, camel. Oh yeah, let's see how our camels do.
Riders advance!
Because if we stay out of the range of their archers and get round behind, we can maybe pull off their cavalry. Right, if I hold down the shift button,
Quickly now! Riders! On me! Ride out! Riders! On me!
okay, so that's given them the order to go round the way to attack from behind. So tell them to hurry up. Okay. So if I hold down the space button, space bar, you see. So these are the orders. So all I was doing is right clicking, holding down my shift key, right click, right click, right click. And because they're missile units, that should be stopping there to fire on them from range. So the idea then is that if they then pull off to actually attack them, see if I can draw them back either to more missile fire or to my melee. But, I don't know how are the camels smelling today anyway. Oh, take your time. Oh, it must be every order. So when they get to my next command point, they'll probably slow down and walk again. Yeah. I'm guessing that's another glitch. Because if you're not aware of that, then you're wondering why the hell your backup's not coming. Obviously, if it's a human player, he would have used one cavalry to cut off the retreat and then the other one to attack. Or at least cut off the two angles of movement and get the archers onto him. Also, I've maybe done this with the wrong unit. Camels, I don't know how fast they can run, so the horse can probably catch them. Okay, I should maybe shouldn't have done this unsupported, should I?
Riders, forward! Order, my lord! Forward!
See how we do. Almost there. There we go. There we go. See how you do. Are you going to stand there and take it, or are you going to reply? See, because they're looking at the size of my army here.
Royal cataphracts!
Speaking of which, I'll get the program.
Riders advance!
Okay. Let's convince them to do a bit of the other thing you can do as well is once I'm trying to decide what to do, aren't I? Oh, what am I doing, son? What am I doing? Get my noble bloods into these boys.
Ready! Find your targets! Withdraw! Melee cavalry awaiting orders!
Just while they're in a mess. But that's the thing, I'm taking advantage of the game mechanic here, aren't I? Because it's like, would they really be all screwed up like that? I don't think so. Oh, 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 cheeky boys, cheeky boys. Okay, bring them back. Oh, bring them back.
Quickly now! Surrender! Spearmen ready for orders! Orders, my lord! And they're ready! Break them! Noble blood cavalry! Orders, my lord! Noble horse archers! We await your orders! As you wish! Nine!
Yeah.
Cavalry! Find your targets!
So sure, the spearmen are broken, but they've done their job. That flank is now free. See now these cavalry. I'm not too bothered about them now, to tell you the truth. Do these. Let's let the home. We've got
Ready! Advance at speed! Waiting order! What are are your orders? Forward! Horse archers! Yes! We are at your command!
I want him to get hit a bit. Okay.
Double horse archers! Take the flanks! Black Riders advance! Warriors eager for blood! Quickly now! Median cavalry! For glory! Double horse archers! We are at your command! Forward! Hoplites! Hoplites! Form phalanx! Spearmen, ready for orders! We await your orders! Execute us! Royal
Yeah, let's see if we can get his cataphracts into action.
Riders advance! At the ready! Ready! What are your orders? Engage! Hoplites ready! We are at your command! Rally to me! Rally to the banners! Royal cataphract! No more horse archers! We understand! Ready! Engage! Royal cataphracts! Forward! Orders! Forever loyal! Forward! Double horse archers! Move back! Royal cataphract! Melee infantry ready! Bleed them! Shield wall! As you wish! Cataphract! Go quickly now! At the ready! As you wish! Riders advance! Horse archers! As you say! Our orders! On my order! Withdraw! Double horse as you command! Cataphracts! For glory! Royal cataphracts! Charge! By your command! Heavy cavalry! On my order! Withdraw! Engage! Pull back! Horse archers! Swift and accurate! Back! Back! Withdraw! Quickly now! Median cavalry! Quickly now! Double horse archers! Ready your aim! Battle ready and eager! Fire! As you say! My lord! In the sky! Fight or we die! Riders at the double! Royal cataphracts! not an option! Put them down! Parthian horse archers! Loose! On my order! Withdraw!
Sacred Band beat them, right. But they should though, shouldn't they? They're pretty much...
Blood cavalry! For honor! As you wish! Padilla cavalry! Pull back! Missile cavalry! Loose!
Yeah, they were. Okay.
We await your orders! Horse archers!
Control M. I thought Control M was a Shift M. Oh,
Cavalry! Missiles ready!
no.
Noble horse archers! Advance at speed! Follow me!
Start! Head! Present shield wall!
We hunger for blood and battle! Missile cavalry!
Back! Back! Withdraw!
Raise the banner! Again!
Melee cavalry at your command!
With riders at the double! Back, men! Back! Noble blood cavalry! Quickly now!
Hmm.
We fight or we die! Noble horse archers!
At ready!
Quickly now!
This is the problem.
Noble horse archers!
If you've been dumb like me.
Ready! Battle ready and eager! Parthian horse archers!
I'm now
Noble
Cavalry
horse
versus
archers!
Spear
Armored horse
because I have no
archers!
more ammunition left. And I believe this is probably one of the things that people are
Melee
complaining
cavalry
about on the
awaiting
forum.
orders.
But even so, you have to learn to take the right types of units. I took too many crappy infantry. That's one of these things you have to learn through time, I suppose. And so I'll take skirmish mode off, considering they're all melee boys now.
Advance at speed!
The best chance I've got, really. Heavy spear. See there, the AI has done a good job. Like, let's put its swords in the middle and its spears in the flank, and that's exactly what you want to do.
formation!
According to this, down formation, charge bonus, melee attack.
Rally to me! Engage!
Double horse archers! For glory! Surrender is not an option! Quickly now! Rally to the banners! Riders at the double! Advance at speed!
I'm just relying on the fact that
Riders advance! For glory! Riders at the double! Forward! Rally to me! Advance at speed!
Noble blood cavalry!
What are your orders?
My lord!
Double horse archers! Riders at the double!
okay.
Charge! Surrender is not an option! Quickly now! Swift and accurate!
Well, I wasn't sure if I'd pull that off or not. But it just goes to show that when the spears are exhausted enough, even horse archers can take them out. Oh, cool! I'm pleased with that. Yeah, but it's a victory though. That's fine to me. Yeah, look, because cataphracts there, 443 kills. So using a cataphract right can actually be, even though people are saying they're not good enough right now, it might be a case of they're maybe not good enough for how we want to use them, but when you use them the way that the game mechanics suggest, then they can still be pretty kick-ass. That's pretty cool, actually. I suppose I'll take a break right now. I'm starving and all that sort of stuff, and the sun's starting to stream through the window and blah blah blah. It's excuses. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. That's my first battle with Parthia, and I don't think I brought the best army. but certainly brought what appeared to be a good enough army for the CPU at least. But yeah, I can understand when people are talking multiplayer, they're going this, that, and the other. But I'm not really interested in like the life and death of every minutiae of multiplayer right now. There are far too many things need fixed first, so it's a case of, well, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's dabble with this and dabble with that. There's no need for you know, it's like there's still going to be several patches still to come. I'll worry about that after those patches, not right now going, look, I can't play it this very second. For me, Total War is a long-term investment. You know, it's not some flash in the pan thing where it's like, I want my money back because it's broken. It's like, well, the problem is some things are effectively broken that are being fixed, and there are other things that are changes that don't mean it's broken, it means it's different. But you don't want me getting on my soapbox, or we'll be here for the next hour and a half. Okay, I'm sure I'll catch you later, and if not, then why the hell? Where were you? Okay, and I just realised all that time I never adjusted my, so I don't know if you saw it properly. Ah, bollocks. Okay, anyway, catch you later.